Hi friends, we all know that India fought for its independence from the British government who ruled India for almost 350 years. Wrong. British government ruled India only for 90 years, from 1857 to 1947. Before 1857, it was not British government but British East India Company who came to India in 1600s for only one purpose: trade. And by the end of approximately 250 years, that is 1857, this company was dominating the princely states of India. Through this video, in the next 3 minutes, we shall understand what exactly turned British East India Company from merely a trading company to the ruler of India. The actual story is with more economics at play rather than geography. Europeans needed raw tropical goods like tea and spices and in huge volumes, and trading with India provided just that. India was and is still a humongous producer of these goods. Portuguese, Dutch, French and British merchants came to India in that order to trade in these goods. The Indian merchants always preferred to have payments in gold. This required the British East India Company to bring in solid gold from their kingdoms, and it was a heavy drain on their treasury. However, the British East India Company made a killing by selling the tea and spices in European markets and was growing extremely rich in paper currency. The actual gold was, however, being drained into India. Gradually, the British East India Company also started trading in China. This extra trade required more gold from England to pay the traders in China, who also preferred solid gold like Indian traders. These trades greatly drained the British treasury because solid gold moved out and abundant paper currency came in. But the world then was a far cry from the globalized one like today. Whosoever owned gold could rule the world. Paper currency was pledged to gold, and when you don't have any, it rouses trouble. The politics in London started getting to heat up with trading activity in India and China, and soon British government took action by limiting their supply of gold for any further trade. Growing businesses with India and China was too lucrative to let it go. With the flow of gold from London getting thinner, kicked in the necessity for the British company to look for other ways to raise gold. Now, the British company began fiddling with the idea of generating gold from India itself, who had high gold reserves from early trade. British company began by asking for rebates, discounts, tax reliefs, or anything that would sustain their trade. They bribed the customs officers of Nawab Siraj-ud-Daulah in Bengal and started abusing trade privileges. This infuriated the Nawab to no extent. He mounted an attack on the British company and in the process may have killed a few Englishmen by packing more than required people in a dark and tight cell meant only for 6 people. It was popularized as the Dark Hole of Calcutta. The British company officers who escaped Nawab's attack returned to London and exaggerated by portraying this incident as a natives-led attack over civilized white people. The gullible British government believed them and promptly dispatched an officer named Robert Clive to lead the operations and raise an army in India. Immediately, events unfolded in order which went like this. 1757, Battle of Plassey. Clive plotted against Siraj-ud-Daulah, the Nawab of Bengal, by bribing his military commander Mir Jafar. The British won and Mir Jafar was made the ruler after killing Siraj. The British company, having installed a puppet ruler Mir Jafar, didn't pay a single penny to Bengal. Instead, charged Jafar a huge amount in gold for making him the ruler. Also, British trade started smoothly once again, and they began to make profits worth killing for. This was the beginning of British colonization, as the British company, in order to sustain trade and ensure supply of gold from within India, started interfering with the local rulers. 1759, Battle of Bedara. Mir Jafar, the puppet, began to see how British were looting him and never paid a single penny over the roaring trade they conducted. He mounted a revolt with the aid of the Dutch against the British company but was defeated. This strengthened the British company's hold, and just a year later in 1760, there was the Battle of Vandewash. The British company attacked French and pushed them out of Bengal, clearing their way towards a monopoly over trade in Bengal. The British company now needed to pay politics full-time instead of proxy play to safeguard their assets, because the Mughals were still a huge force to fight with, and the growing Maratha kingdom in the west was also threatening to take over Bengal. 1764, Battle of Buxar. The exiled ruler of Bengal joined forces with Shah Alam II, the Mughal emperor, who was in Agra, and Siraj-ud-Daulah, the ruler of Awadh. They launched a massive attack on British and struck heavily but lost. The British were 10,000 and the Indians were 40,000. But some really great commandeering by Hector Munro won the war for a British company. The BEIC now collected taxes in modern-day Bengal, UP, Bihar, Jharkhand and Odisha. The gains were huge. They earned about £2 million per annum by running a parallel government in Bengal and held no responsibility whatsoever. The days of asking the rulers for money and bribes were over. The British could now tax Bengali people and buy goods from the same Bengali people using the same money and recollected taxes. Instead of paying customs, BEIC now taxed Indians in reverse for selling the British. A complete 180-degree turn. The colloquial Indian golden goose was literally India control, which they wrenched with both hands. The BEIC now didn't have to spend a single dime. They now had valuable export goods, plus surplus golden taxes, plus their operating expenses were paid by the Indian rulers. The boundaries were now established. The flow of gold from London to Asia finally stopped. It was now time for a reverse flow of gold from Asia to London. In short, BEIC wanted tea, which needed gold, and when that wasn't getting sourced from London, led them to source it from India, and that needed them to go to war with the Indians. For the British to maintain their hold in Bengal and protect their plantation territory required them to raise huge armies to protect their own kin and properties, which required more money, more taxes, more territories, eventually ending up with a humongous Indian empire. They also needed the armies to protect themselves from the Mughals in the north and the Marathas in the west. The fact that all of this was done by a British company, which was always only a trading company at its core, is something extraordinary. British company never had the intention or the capability to rule. Only trade and money mattered to them more than anything else. Eventually, the rule of British East India Company was transferred to the British Crown with the revolt of 1857. That was a massive Indian rebellion movement to end the British rule in India. So friends, colonization of India happened by British company, not with an intention but by an accident. All the information given in this video can be viewed through the links given in the comment section. And yes friends, in case you do not want to miss any of the further videos from our channel, please subscribe to the channel and please do keep the notifications on. We will keep sharing such authentic, iconic Indian stories so that your knowledge about the country only keeps on improving. Do like and comment on this video if you found this information useful.